Welcome, everybody, to the Stoned On Sports Podcast. My name is Matt. Really happy to be here with you on this Thursday evening. We're going to take a dive into Week 13 of the fantasy football season. As always, I am joined here by Damage Control, Kyle and Ramey. Ramey, we've got a game tonight with some possible playoff implications. We've got the Seahawks that are kind of really fighting for their playoff lives. The Cowboys are pretty well positioned. And that's not unlike a lot of folks who come hang out with us. Some folks are still fighting for their fantasy playoff life. Others are trying to secure a bye or just solidify their place in the postseason.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have a Thursday night game to look forward to. It's nice to see you fellas on this Thursday night. We've got a good game coming up. Both teams played on Thanksgiving, so going through a normal week. You're absolutely right. Seattle's kind of scuffling a little bit, and Dallas is looking like a world beater so far. But again, it's going to be fun to see tonight how they fare. I tried to not say interesting to see, but I failed. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare against a quality team, because the Cowboys have been just beating up on inferior competition. And it seems like earlier in the year when they were playing either, whether it's the Eagles or the Niners or other teams, they really struggle against quality teams. So it's going to be fun to watch, and it'll probably tell us a lot about both teams. I think Dallas is going to win, as it shows on the screen. They're a pretty big favorite, and Seattle's banged up as well. So, but it's going to should be a fun game to watch, at least for most of the game. I think may get a little out of hand towards the end of the game, but I think it'll be pretty good. Kyle, how are you?
Up? I am great. Great to be here as always. Great Thursday night football. First, I'd like to say thank you to our viewers and watchers and listeners and subscribers. We appreciate you very much. Thanks for being here with us tonight, or if you watch the replay, thanks for watching that. And we're always available. Put some comments on the replays. We will answer those questions too. As Matt says, we got you. So
we got you.
Got a comment already here?
Yeah, Blue Jays. What's up, man?
Blue Jays. What's up? Good afternoon. Blue? Good evening, I should say. Talk me out of starting Charbonnet in the flex. Oh, what other options you got, brother?
Yeah.
I mean,
the Cowboys defense, they've been stingy against the run, but over the past few weeks, it's not been quite as good. I'm still not wanting to start Charbonnet. If I have anything else, he's a very low end running back 2, high end running back 3 for me this week. And there's quite a few guys out there who've got much better matchups, but it all depends on what you got available too, Blue.
Yeah, he's a volume based RB2. I'll say volume based low RB2. Jesus, Cowboys are allowing 3.78 yards per carry to running back, 9th in the league, and 3rd in fantasy points allowed per touch to running backs at 0.71. I wouldn't start him, but I can't remember who else is on your team from when we talked the other day. I got you.
There you go.
Cup, Hopkins, DK, and Kirk start 3. What did we say the other night?
I think we went with the last 3. To be honest with you,
I believe so.
I don't like Charbonnet in this matchup. I think it could turn into a little bit of a shootout. Dallas seems to be scoring a ton of points, and if Seattle's going to keep up, they're going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. I know that Charbonnet's not bad out of the backfield, but to count on him for a lot of production tonight against the Cowboys offense and that Cowboys defense is not great, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's going to get – last week he played over 87% of the snaps, which led all running backs in Week 13. He had 85% of backfield touches, which was 6th in the league. So the volume's there, but I don't think it's going to be very efficient. I wouldn't look for much over 3 yards a carry.
I would go Charbonnet over Cup.
Yeah. We have to start 3 out of those 4. And Charbonnet.
I was in the chat, so I wasn't listening.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Hopkins, DK, and Kirk. I think we talked about this on Tuesday too, if I remember right.
We did. Thanks for joining the show there, Matt. I think me and Ramey just said that like 2 minutes ago, but
thanks for having me,
man. Matt playing the role of Kyle tonight.
He did. Blue Jays, thanks for the question, hanging out with us this evening.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
And then Cameron Samuel, much love from Baltimore. Go Steelers. Ooh. And I was a Steelers fan for quite a long. I mean, I just don't follow him like I did, but when Ben was there in the heyday years. I really enjoyed watching the Steelers games.
Steelers fan in Baltimore.
Hey,
yeah, that's a little strange.
Yeah, maybe could be from the Pittsburgh area and moved to Baltimore. Things happen, but
and we made it 4 minutes.
Yeah, did you guys cuss when I was elsewhere?
No,
nice. I don't think so. No, we were totally kept it
we
PG.
pinky promised.
So
proud of you,
right? Oh, camera's coming through the Facebook. I just noticed that instead of the YouTube. That's cool. I love that we're
the
doing
Facebook,
the live stream to the Facebook. Yeah.
Grandpa.
Yeah. Jesus. The Cowboys are good. Dak's been on a tear lately. This is Dak's been on a tear lately. This is the game where you might have to, rein in some expectations. Let's see. Seattle's allowed only one QB score, one QB1 score over the past 8 games. They only allow 6.3 yards per attempt, 4th in the league, and their touchdown rate of 3.3% allowed is 9th in the league. He's going to have a tough run against that defensive backfield there. Witherspoon's been playing very well.
Yeah, and I think too, when we talk about managing your expectations for somebody like Dak, who's just been on fire, we're not talking about he's going to have 8 points, and instead of getting you 28 or 29, maybe it's only 20 or 21. He's still somebody you're going to roll out there and be happy to do it.
Yeah, I think he's still going to go for 250 and 2.
And for sure.
Yeah, he's playing really well. And it seems like it's really kind of hinged on the fact that they're now throwing the ball downfield a lot more than they were earlier in the season. They were throwing a lot of short passes in the season, and Mike McCarthy, for whatever he's worth, he's allowed that offense to open it up deep, and that's kind of opened up a lot of options for them, and they've just been scoring like crazy over the last 4 or 5 games.
Awesome. Cameron says he is born and raised in Baltimore, but born into a Steelers household. Hey, we all have our friends and family that raise us to be certain fans, and I'm a diehard Detroit sports fan, I should say. I love all the teams and the U of M, so I get it, man.
Yeah, Dak's been amazing though. He's leading the league in big time throw rate. See, I said that one for you, Kyle, so you didn't have
Thanks.
to.
Appreciate it.
He's also got the lowest percentage of turnover worthy plays. There's been 2 quarterbacks to lead both categories for a full season. It was Brady in 2016 and Phil Rivers in 2009. Credit to the FF newsletter for that one. I didn't look that up, but it arrived right in my inbox.
Perfect.
Yeah, and you were talking about vertical passes. He's got 16 touchdowns on vertical targets this season. It's most in the NFL. Like, he's been airing it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that pretty dynamic right now.
It is. They're playing very well. On the other side of the coin, you got Geno.
Geno.
He has, not been very good. What was he? QB 29 last week. Not good. Things aren't going to get any easier tonight. Dallas is allowing 10.5 passing points per game to quarterbacks, 3rd in the league. And sorry, I had a major itch. God, that's how unprofessional. When Smith's been pressured, he's been pressured on 40% of his dropbacks, 28th in the league. And when he's pressured, he's just 5.1 yards per attempt, 27th in the league. What are you guys laughing about? The itch thing?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us would have noticed if you hadn't said
right. Yeah.
anything.
You could have just.
It was my ankle. I was like, holy cow, what is going on here?
How short are you?
The Cowboys lead the league in pressure rate at 47.4.
He had his shins amputated like cotton on King of the Hill.
There's nothing ankle. There's nothing from here below. I'm just all tips and head.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Nothing from here below.
Anyway, Gino's
You
gonna
dumbass.
He's stuck as a QB2 option this week. There are a lot of buys this week. Maybe you got to start him, but I would not. Let's see. Remember when the beginning of the season when Seattle's run defense was like pretty good?
Yeah, they're not no more.
They have gotten worse against the run as the season has progressed. Over the past 5 games, they've allowed 5.3 yards per carry to running backs, and that's 30th in the league, and allowed a league high 7 rushings to running backs over that span. They have allowed a top 5 scoring back in 3 of those 5 games. So Pollard, fire him up. He'd be good for DFS too tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I said earlier, I think the Cowboys are going to cover. I think it's going to be, I wouldn't be shocked to see it be like a 17-point kind of game and maybe flirt with a backdoor cover with a late touchdown. But I think the Cowboys are going to win easily. I wouldn't hesitate to put a little bit of money on that over either.
Yeah. I wonder what will happen. You think Witherspoon will follow Lamb, or Lamb's got an edge because against like other lead wideouts that have played against Seattle, CD Lamb lines up in the slot 50% of his snaps over the last 6 weeks. So I'm wondering how that's going to affect. So he might. I don't know if Witherspoon is a follower there. I'm not sure.
He's played about 40% of his snaps in the slot. Witherspoon has. So
I'm talking about CD Lamb. Oh, you're talking about. Okay, I got you. So he could be there. He can play all over.
Yeah, you were right though. Tony Pollard, like he's doing great, but you look year over year, he's down 1.5 yards a carry.
Bitch, we're talking about CD Lamb.
5 yards per reception, 4 touchdowns, and 100 rushing yards from last year. I just completely changed the subject. I'm sorry.
You did. I was like,
that.
We were talking about CD Lamb, and I'm like, all right, Pollard again. Yeah, okay.
I thought you maybe saw where Cameron said Pollard's a beast.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
I was
That's
responding to that.
That's what he's going with.
Thanks,
Funny
Raymond.
stuff, Cameron.
Yeah.
Funny stuff, Cameron. Check out our YouTube channel too. We'd appreciate a like and subscribe on there as well. Stoned on Sports Podcast. We post some extra content on there as well. Occasionally.
We have before.
Anybody got anything on CD Lamb or Metcalf?
He is playing. He's playing really well this year. I think he's always been really good, but I feel like this year he's kind of established himself as a true wide receiver 1, like a guy that you can confidently count on 18 to 20 points a game. He's really connecting well with Dak. He's catching, like you said, he's in the slot. He's outside. He's catching deep balls. Dak is going deep to everybody. That offense is just so explosive right now and I think he's a big part of it too. Dak's having a great year, but I think CeeDee Lamb kind of evolving and becoming a true top flight wide receiver has contributed to that as well.
Yeah, he is a front end wide receiver 1 for fantasy this year, for sure. Blue Jays says, any of you gents have vacation plans this winter?
I don't.
Not really.
I don't.
I'm on vacation right now, and you see where I'm at. I'm here with you guys.
It's a green screen. You're actually on the beach right now.
I think I'll travel down to Matt's for you were talking about coming here for Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's in February, but no, I don't have anything planned. I'd love to catch a plane to Jamaica or something.
You don't have a passport.
Get warm for 4 or 5 days. That's true.
Did they take it from you?
Nah, I never had one. What about you, Blue Jays? Travel plans this holiday season, winter? Cameron Samuel says, on my way to the YouTube channel now. New subscriber. Thanks, man. We really appreciate that.
Appreciate
you have no idea.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
We're over 100 now. We haven't been at this very long, just a few months. So we're having fun doing it. We like all the interaction with all our viewers and subscribers. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Lions.
Let's do it. Let's switch it.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Tired of stupid Cowboys.
All right, roll her in.
I just did. I said, let's talk about the Lions.
Yeah, I changed the banner and then you talk.
Oh, all right. I guess I'll say words. On the Detroit side, I love ARSB's matchup with Alontae Taylor in a slot. He's allowing a 25% target per route run this year and 0.36 points per route run. So I think that's going to be a great matchup for him. Overall, the secondary has been depleted there in New Orleans with Marshawn Lattimore being out. Goff, I think, is going to continue to be a borderline QB1, high-end QB2. He could do some things this week, and he's been really good under pressure this season. It's just a damn shame he's been under pressure so much here recently. Hopefully during the little mini bye here between Thanksgiving and this weekend, the offensive line kind of got together and decided to, get their shit straight.
Yeah, it's that Thanksgiving game was pretty disappointing. A lot of it stemmed from offensive line issues. We had some injuries and some rookies that just couldn't cut the cheese or cut the cheese.
Mustard.
Cut the mustard. Yeah, that's much better. I did find a stat I saw today. The Saints have not led at halftime in any home games yet this season. They're the only team in the league that has not had a running back rush for 20 or more yards this season. Kamara's back. He's doing amazing things, but he's mostly making his mark in the receiving game. You mentioned Goff. He's pretty much been on that QB1, QB2, right on that line most of the year. If you're forced to use him this week, I think he's a fine start, like Matt mentioned a little while ago. They're kind of beat up there on the back end. The Saints defense started off pretty good, and they're still good. They're still very dominant in ways, but a lot of their stats have dropped down there. Blue Jay says, headed down to Turk and Caicos for a couple weeks next Saturday. Dude, I'm jelly.
Nice.
2 weeks. Jesus.
Nice. Enjoy.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Jeez. Good luck, man. Hopefully you're still able to join us.
Yeah.
You're going to need some
Priorities.
advice, man. Going to need some advice. We'll keep you there for your fantasy playoffs, man. Keep you.
Yeah, they have internet there.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Laporta, he seems like he's got a good matchup on the surface. I think the Saints allowed like the 6th most points to tight ends, but Demario Davis has been fantastic this year in coverage. So I'm not really envisioning this being a Laporta game. I think it's going to be more ARSB.
You mentioned they haven't their yards per target are pretty generous to tight ends, but their touchdown rate is 8.2% allowed to tight ends. That's 29th in the league. So he could still fall in the end zone.
It's possible. I mean, look, any player gets in the end zone, chances are they're going to have a halfway decent week. Like that's 6 points right there. So, that caveat is just always out there.
Yeah. Boulier says he's got Lamar on bye this week. Goff is available on waivers, currently going with Carr. I assume I make the claim.
I start Carr if Olave plays. If Olave doesn't play, then I'll go with Goff.
Still in a
Olave's
dome,
still
too.
protocol.
Goff's still pretty good, usually in a dome. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like Matt's take on it instead of, feeling totally with my heart that you should just go with Goff. But he's turned the ball over a lot lately.
Yeah, it has.
Are you guys going to be in panic mode if the Lions don't win this game?
No, not yet, thankfully.
Yeah. They haven't really played that well the last couple weeks for whatever reason. They've turned the ball over a lot, like you said.
Minnesota's on a bye, so we're not going to be worried about them catching up this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
but we still do have to play them twice, like we've mentioned several times on this show.
Yep. Twice in the
Worries
last
me.
3 weeks.
It worries me, especially with a healthy Justin Jefferson coming back, and Dobbs had a stinker the other day, but you've seen what he can do. So
yeah, I don't know. This Lions team just seems different from what I've watched. I know you guys follow them a lot more closely than I do, but it just, after that loss against Green Bay on Thanksgiving, where they didn't really look very good at all, I just feel like Dan Campbell's going to have them focused coming into this game, and going on the road's probably not a bad thing in this situation. Get their minds right and get a win over a mediocre New Orleans team. So I think Detroit wins. I don't know if they cover, but I think they win.
yeah, I think Kamara will probably be a good play this week too. I think anybody's probably going to start him. The Lions' rush defense is up there in the league. They're still pretty good. Oh, they got torched last week, but he's handled so many of the touches. He's up to 80% of backfield touches. But with the state of the wide receiver room there at the Saints, and they're going to be an underdog at home, should have a heavy role as a pass catcher again, trying to play catch up.
Yeah, he's the number 2 running back in our consensus rankings. You can find those posted over at our website, www.stonedonsportspodcast.com. We've got our QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense and special teams rankings up. And we pop them up there every week, starting with this week. Go check them out.
Yeah. And they're just, for now, PPR. Seems to be the most popular format, but you got questions on that, let us know. For sure.
Olave did practice today.
Yeah.
He was limited, but he did practice.
Yep. Yesterday and today practice, and still has to pass that independent neurological exam and stuff. So
do you think there's any chance of this being a Jamal Williams revenge game?
No, I don't think so. Could happen, but I don't think so. I don't see it. Do not see it. But yeah, it's tough there in the wide receiver room. You got Michael Thomas on IR. Rashid Shaheed suffered, I think it was a quad injury. He didn't practice today, I believe. No, he did not. And yeah, we talked about Olave. Man, if he plays, he's fringe wide receiver 1 with like an added target upside.
Oh, absolutely.
With everybody hurt.
He destroyed Detroit's secondary.
Yeah. Yeah. Perry, if you have AT Perry, I actually picked him up in a league. We'll see what happens there. If he goes, I'm thinking about starting him. Like if Olave's out, Rashid's out.
Have a good matchup against Jerry Jacobs.
Yeah. Yeah, they have definitely. Detroit has struggled on the back end of late. Over their past 5 games, they've allowed a league high almost 70% catch rate to wide receivers. They allow 166 a game, which is 25th in the league, and 1.6 touchdowns per game to wide receivers, 31st in the league. They made a lot of free agent signings, drafted Brian Branch, and it hasn't really panned out yet. It did suck that we had lost CJ and almost immediately. But anyway, tight ends for the Saints. So some of those receivers are out again. Taysom Hill was getting targets earlier in the season when folks were out, and Joanne Johnson would be a good tight end play this week too. If Olave
feels like a big Taylor Hill game.
Taylor Hill. Yes. Did I say Taylor again?
No, you didn't, but I had to bring it up.
I hope not.
I'm a jerk.
God, I hope not. All right, let's move on to your Colts, Ramey. Sound good?
Yeah, let's talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
If the playoffs ended today, playoff bound Colts. Yeah. So they're going down to Tennessee, playing the Titans, who are 4-7. They have not lost a game in Tennessee though. Titans are 4-0 in Tennessee. They did lose a home game over in London, but that doesn't really count. So Colts have the opportunity to win their 4th game in a row. It would be their first 4-game win streak since 2018. That was quite some time ago. So yeah, they need to. Jonathan Taylor's hurt, so that's never good, But Zach Moss is there, and we talked about that on Tuesday, how he should be able to fill that role pretty seamlessly since he did to start the year. The receivers seem to be doing pretty well with Gardner Minshew, Michael Pittman especially. Josh Downs has been solid, but as of late, he's kind of slumped off. You don't know if that's because of that knee injury lingering or if there's just some other issues going on, but maybe hitting the rookie wall. I don't know. But against that Titans defense, look for Pittman to have a nice day. We were talking about it before the podcast. Zach Moss went off against the Titans when they played in week 5. Colts won by a touchdown, but he had 2 touchdowns. What'd you say, man? 165 yards?
Yep.
So
29 for 183 is what I got.
Yeah. Oh, so even better. 183. Nice.
That would have been touches total.
Oh,
29 touches for 183 total yards.
Yeah. So I know this is pretty much a pick'em game. The Colts are a 1-point favorite. The Titans are kind of trending in the. You're right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Titans are trending in the wrong direction, and they've got Will Levis starting for them, trying to see if he's worth being the starter of the future and getting him ready. But their line is not great. They do have DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry is starting to show his age a little bit as well. The Colts run defense isn't especially good. So Derrick Henry should have a decent day, but I look for the Colts to kind of control this game on the ground. Gardner Minshew making some high percentage passes to both Pittman and Downs. And I think the Colts are going to sneak out of there with the victory.
We got Gardner Minshew. Cloud Boy Enterprises in the chat. Sorry, man. Yeah. He says, yo, fellas. Thanks for joining us again. Go Blue. Go ahead.
Appreciate you. I was going to say, Minshew has not been really producing, at least from a fantasy perspective here. He's got 6 touchdowns, 7 picks in the last 6 weeks. 2 of his last 3 games are under 10 points, 3 or 4 games under 250 yards. But the Colts are winning. They're not going to ask him to do a whole hell of a lot. I'm firing up Zach Moss with confidence, as well as both receivers. They've all got some pretty decent matchups. Earlier in the season, Tennessee's defense was one to be avoided, or at least taken much more seriously than they are now. They've just kind of withered as the season has gone on.
Yeah. One stat I found interesting about the Colts, their touchdowns via rushing, second in the league behind the Ravens. They're at 59% of their touchdowns, and the Ravens are at 61-1. I expect Moss to have a big game this week. I don't think he'll have over 150 yards again, but you never know. He's definitely in the mix as a volume-based RB1 this week. Definitely.
Yeah. Free square and DFS too.
Yeah. Yep. I'd say that's a good one. You guys covered some of what about D-Hop? He's had some decent weeks since Levis took over as starter.
Yeah.
And he's had some stinkers too.
Yeah. He's kind of, especially that first game where Levis came in. It was either the first or the second one where he had 3 touchdowns. He's played really well, but you're absolutely right. It has been hit and miss. I don't know if that's more so D-Hop just not being the D-Hop of old, or Levis just not being able to be consistent as a rookie quarterback. So I was going to touch on the Colts defense. We talked about them a few weeks ago, how they were giving up points like it was going out of style, giving up almost 40 points a game. The last 3 games, they're averaging just about 13 points a game given up. So that defense is improving as the season's gone on. Now, the competition also got a little bit easier. The last 3 games against the Panthers, Patriots, and Bucks. But that defense is tightening up. And against a rookie quarterback, you look I would imagine that Tennessee is going to focus on feeding Derrick Henry and trying to get up early and control that game on the ground and not have to rely on Will Levis. If the Colts can get a lead early, I think that defense can kind of keep Tennessee in check because that offense isn't super explosive.
Yeah. Back to D-Hop a little bit. He has he's almost 25% target share. It's kind of a strong matchup for him if Levis tends to run hot, if he can actually play decent. Because the Colts are 22nd in points allowed per game to wide receiver ones, offering up almost 17 points a game. That includes Hopkins earlier in the year, week 5, where he was 8 of 11 for 140. And that was when Ryan fucking Tannehill was chucking the ball. So, could work out. Let's see. Supersonic says, what is DFS? Daily Fantasy Sports, sir. That's one. A lot of them, you'll set a lineup. There's a lot of options for that. I know Matt had talked to you about that.
Yep. DraftKings, FanDuel. Yep. That's where you set just the lineup for the day or for the week or whatever it may be, just depending on the sport.
And I think you might have mentioned there's a separate, app or website for both of those. There's the sports book, and then there's the daily fantasy sports through DraftKings, at least.
It's a lot of fun, especially when you win 5 in a row.
Yeah. But you're back to 500 again.
That's true.
Any more stuff for Colts?
Kind of just one quick little thing, because you both mentioned it. The Colts being so heavy on the rushing touchdowns compared to the passing touchdowns in Minshew's fantasy outlook. Minshew's kind of buoyed his poor fantasy showing with 3 rushing touchdowns. I'm surprised it's only 3. It's because it seems like he had a game where he had 2, but I don't know. It's what the stats say. But I feel like Minshew's rushing touchdowns has kind of helped his fantasy stock a little bit. But unless he's doing what he needs to do. He's getting wins, but he's not going to go out and get you 25 points by any means. Now watch this weekend. He throws for 304 touchdowns, but I don't see that happening.
It could happen.
Very well. He's the QB 24 on the season. So he's the absolute worst option that is still a starter in 2 QB leagues.
Yeah. Yep. And then Downs, we touched on him, I think, a little bit. He's a floor-based wide receiver 3 this week, I guess, for me. It's favorable matchup for sure. What was he? 6 for 97 when they played in week 5.
Yeah. I got no problem starting him. No problem starting Pittman. We've talked about Moss. I think it's a good matchup all around for them.
Yeah, it's just can Gardner Minshew not turn the ball over.
That's it. Hang on to the rock.
He's been bad with that. He's definitely been bad with that.
Yeah, he's
all right. Broncos Texans, nice AFC matchup. Both teams 6 and 5. Could decide some wild card berths here later in the season. Houston's favored at home -3. Over unders 47.5. That's probably about right. CJ Stroud, right? Jesus. What an incredible rookie campaign so far.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's slinging it, of course. He's, throwing for 300 yards. What? 4th consecutive game he's thrown for over 300 yards. Last week was kind of nice too. He ran for season high 47 yards and got a touchdown on the ground, his 3rd of the year. So, man, he's got some dual threat there for fantasy, and he's too hot to turn away from. You're gonna start him
for sure. I don't think the rushing is something I would look to count on week to week.
No,
but the passing and the volume and the touchdowns have been there. He's thrown 2 or more touchdowns in every home game this season. I'm looking for that to continue. He's got a nice little pair of wide receivers there, and Nico Collins and Tank Dell. This is going to be a tough matchup. And I know we just got done talking about the Lions a few minutes ago, but it's almost like the Broncos and the Lions just kind of swapped. Where Lions, their defense was looking legit for like the first 6 weeks, and then it's turned to shit. And the Broncos defense looked like shit for the first 6 weeks, and now they're looking pretty damn solid.
Yeah. That's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
Houston, for Stroud to survive, that Houston needs to keep him, clean in the pocket. Denver's very good at pressuring quarterbacks. They got a nice front there.
What's their pass rush win rate, Kyle?
Pass rush win rate.
Yeah, no. Credit to the coaching staff in Denver, because after giving up 70 in Miami, they really have kind of turned things around, and they played a lot of younger guys. And I know that they traded Bradley Chubb. Really, really started to kind of get things in order out there, and they're playing well. We talked about it on Tuesday. This is kind of shockingly are going to be a really entertaining game. Should be fun to watch, and it has playoff implications, tiebreaker implications. If these teams continue to win and end up tied at the end of the season, it could determine the difference between a playoff berth or seeding or things like that. So I really like CJ Stroud. I think he's going to play well, but you're absolutely right, Matt. He's just 2 or more touchdowns in every home game. He plays really well at home. I don't know why I feel like they play at home every game, but they're at home again, and he plays really well at home. But it just seems like whenever they're on, they're playing at home, and they'll continue to be successful. I think they win. I think it's a really competitive game.
Yeah, the Texans did lose Titus Howard for the season to a knee injury, and that's going to be a huge loss along their offensive line. Anytime you lose a player of that caliber, it's really going to hurt. You can only say next man up so much, but there's going to be a drop off in play there.
Yeah. Russell Wilson, man, he's been playing enough, just good enough, I guess, to get some wins. They didn't ask him to do too much through the air last week against Cleveland's defense. I might have mentioned it. I don't know, maybe in the last couple of weeks, but Wilson's either shooting, layups or he's bombing 3-pointers. He leads the league in throws behind the line of scrimmage at 29.8%, and he's 5th in deep target rate at 13.5%, which I was actually shocked to see yesterday. Houston's pass defense is pretty legit. They have not allowed a top 10 scoring quarterback in 6 of the past 7 games. They're playing pretty well. DeMeco Ryans has some things changed around there. They seem to be coming together as a unit at the right time. I'm not starting Russell Wilson this week, but there are 6 buys this week, so you never know. But I would not do that at all.
I mean, I'm not worried about Houston's defense not allowing top 10 performances because Russ isn't a top 10 quarterback.
This is true.
What's crazy is Russ almost has 1,000 less passing yards than CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's got 3,266. Russ just shy of 2,200. Actually, it's more than 1,000 less. I can't do math. But their touchdown and interception numbers are kind of surprisingly similar. Russ is 20-4. CJ Stroud's 19-5. So when it comes down to it, Russ is still putting the ball in the end zone and taking care of the ball like he didn't do last year, like he did in Seattle. And we touched on that on Tuesday. But the outside of the yardage numbers, they're really having similar years from a touchdown and taking care of the ball standpoint.
Yeah, Russ has only gone over 200 yards once since week 4. But he has gotten you 16 or more fantasy points 3 of the past 4 weeks. And generally, all right, if you get me 15 points, I can kind of work with that. I want more, but, just to avoid the big goose eggs there. Well, not 0, but you get what I mean. The shitty weeks.
Yeah.
Because he rushed 11 times last week for 34 yards and got his first rushing touchdown of the year, which you used to see all the time in Seattle.
Yeah, that was his most rushing attempt since 2017.
Jeez.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
I think it was like week 2 of the 2017 season when he had 12 attempts.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, he's been rock solid for you this year. 9 of 11 games over 10 points, averaging 13.9 points per week. Tough matchup on the outside with Steven Nelson, but he's been remarkably consistent this year.
The Texans are allowing 9.5 yards per target, 27th in the league to outside wide receivers, and Sutton plays there 80% of the time. So I get what you're saying. The individual matchup, we'll see if he's on him the whole game, but I think I got Sutton as a boomer bust wide receiver 3 this week.
Yeah,
do you concur?
I think so. I mean, I don't necessarily think he's boom or bust. He's right there on the borderline though. Low end 2, high end 3.
Judy's just fell off the face of the earth. He only had 3 targets last week for caught 2 of them for 11 yards. But I guess you could take a leap of faith at a flex position, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm having to start him in one league.
Yeah.
I think it's the podcast league, and it's, I hold my nose as I hit submit on that lineup.
Yeah,
dude he's not finished better than wide receiver 29 all season.
Yeah,
and just what you were expecting coming into the year, the draft capital you had to spend to get him. No.
Houston plays a ton of zone though. That might help out Sutton or Judy. He's been targeted on a team high, almost 21% of his routes against zone. So I could see it, but that's tough. That is tough. Kip says Broncos about to whoop that ass. I'm not sure, man. I've been high on the Texans, well, pretty much all year. They've been exciting to watch.
Broncos won 5 straight, though.
Yeah. Bryce Ridley, welcome back, Bryce. Appreciate you stopping in. Dak or Mahomes this week, fellas?
That's a good one. Let me go to the rankings here. I got him 2-3.
Yeah. Okay. So close. Which one's?
Yeah, I'll go with Dak. Which? He's at home. Dak's at 2. Mahomes is at 3.
Yeah, I'll go with Dak too. I mean, it's Thursday night, but they're on a full week of rest, so I'll go with Dak as well, being at home and playing so well lately.
That's tough. I'm going to go Mahomes. I'm going to say he's going to go into
Explain yourself.
Lambeau. I just like Mahomes better. I just like Mahomes better this week.
He plays for the Chiefs.
The Lambeau Field narrative.
They play at Lambeau. The weather's not going to be a factor there. I just like Mahomes better. Like I said earlier in the show, Dak has been on a tear this season, but I think this is one where it's going to regress just a bit. I like Mahomes. Sunday night. He's great primetime. His primetime record's great.
It's his first time playing in Lambeau.
Kip Heller said, is it? First time?
Mm-hmm.
Kip Heller also agrees with Mahomes, agrees with me. And he just hates Dallas. I also hate Dallas. I won't say hate. That's a strong word. I just like Dallas. Just liked him since, I was watching football in the early 90s when they went on a tear and
since JR got
Super Bowl, won 3 Super Bowls in a row. 2 with
America's team.
2 with Jimmy and 1 with Switzer. But yeah, what else we got here? Dislike, he says. Dalton Schultz, not a bad play either at tight end. Denver's allowing 8.7 yards per target, 30th in the league, and a 6.7 touchdown rate, 25th in the league to tight ends. So if you're hurting for tight end this week with some buys and Goddard hurt, and is there somebody else that's hurt at tight end? Andrews obviously is out.
Yeah. Schultz only played 48% of snaps last week.
I saw Brevin Jordan had a season high 19 pass routes last week. He was always single digit routes every game before that. Schultz wasn't reported with an injury or nothing like that. It was strange that happened, but
hopefully it's just a blip on the radar because I'm starting him in a league and I need him to get points.
Yeah.
Preferably like multiple.
He was freaking blanketed last week. He only caught one of 2 targets for just 2 yards. So don't love it. Okay. Any more Broncos Texans?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Awesome. Also, I'm good.
49ers. This is 425, probably Fox's game of the week, I'm guessing. 49ers are going to Philly. NFC rematch. The over-under is 48. I think it could go over. What do you guys think?
I think it'll go over too. Oh no, I thought Matt froze, but then he blinked and I realized that he did not freeze.
Nope.
Yeah.
I am
I think
unfrozen.
I think
Nope,
it'll
just
go over
medicated.
too. Oh, Eagles coming off that overtime win against the Bills. Niners coming across the country after, God, I just lost it. Who'd they play last week? Let me look.
I don't know. It's not important. We're talking this
Ooh,
week.
the Niners played the Seahawks.
That's
on
right, on Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm a dummy. So Niners got out of Seattle with a win, and now they have to travel to Philly. Philly's only lost one game. Philly seems to continue to be doing just enough to win, regardless of the opponent. You think that's going to catch up with them at some point. Is this the week? I kind of think it might be. Again, this one's going to have implications possibly for home field throughout the playoffs. The Eagles have a 2-game advantage on the rest of the field in the NFC. So if the Niners have any hope of getting home field throughout the playoffs, they have to win this game. Then they'd have the tiebreaker as well. So it should be a really fun game. It will be America's game of the week since the Cowboys are playing tonight. And I look forward to America's game of the week. But no, the two offenses that are really dynamic. I know we talked about it on Tuesday. Hurts has not been playing well, but he's been running the ball really well and scoring a lot of touchdowns.
Sam was black, is back. He's been here before. Appreciate you stopping back. He's got Monty, Najee, and DeAndre Swift in his flex. He's got Nixon on the bench. Should I bench
Leave his
him
ass
or
there.
replace him? Yeah,
Yep.
I'd leave him. I would drop him. Maybe if you could get something for him, I suppose. But most trade deadlines are done. So, yeah.
No, Najee's come on the past couple weeks. DeAndre
Yeah.
Swift has been a low end running back one for you for the majority of the year. Monty has that amazing touchdown upside. That offense there in Cincinnati is a shell of what it was with Jose Burrow at the controls, but now you got that Jake Browning there. So yeah, and have to call him a dickhead this time. I remembered his name.
Nice.
Excellent job.
Yeah, leave Mixon on the bench. You've got your best 3 options in there.
Yeah, I think Ramey will talk a little bit more about that in a minute when we get into our Aces and Deuces picks, because I know he's got him as a deuce this week. So
Yep.
Don't drop him, keep him. He's running back depth in the fantasy playoffs is a key. You need good depth, so I wouldn't drop him. Great question, Sam. Appreciate it, man. If you haven't liked or subscribed before, please do. We'd appreciate it. I forgot who we were talking about.
Niners,
We're still
Eagles.
talking about Hurts.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just talking about how he hasn't really been playing very well as a passer, but he's been running the ball and scoring touchdowns. I still owe you $20, Kyle.
Yeah. I'll collect.
Just does enough to win. That offense is still trying to I don't know if they're trying to figure things out after losing Shane Steichen, or if they're just, they're taking what's given to them and they're winning games, and they're winning close games, and they're getting ready for a playoff run. So fortunately, Hurts hasn't had to throw it a ton over as of late, but he's turned the ball over a little bit. He's scoring a ton of touchdowns, and that's why he's in the MVP conversation, and they're 10-1. But I don't know that he's been just kind of setting himself apart as an MVP contender.
Yeah, he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns since 2021. And you're right, he's had turnovers in 5 of the last 6 games. Year over year, between this year and last, he's run for 200 fewer yards at this point in the season this year than he has last year. Now you got the knee injury, and that makes sense, and just his progression as a passer.
Yeah.
49ers play zone defense about 65% of the time this year. I'm expecting those wide receivers for Philly to eat, especially Devonta Smith. Since Dallas Goedert has been out, he's been on fire, averaging over 100 yards a game. He scored a touchdown, where A.J. Brown, not so much. He's got like 4 for 45. Funnily enough, Devonta Smith only has 3 more targets than A.J. Brown.
Yeah. Yep. Saw that. Yeah. Since Goddard's been gone, he's Devontae Smith's target shares up from 15.5 to 26.7. That's nice. He's been having a great season. second half player, kind of like he was last year. I believe you said that the other
Yep.
other evening when we were on here as well. Yeah, AJ Brown's going to tear up that cover 3 zone. Against cover 3, he leads the Eagles in 31.6% of the team targets and over half of the fucking air yards, 53%. So I will see. I think we'll see a huge game from those guys, like you said. Sam says he subscribed. You'll see me next week. Sam, we're also here on Sunday mornings at 11:30 for Tinker Time, taking all your last-minute roster management questions, lineup decisions. We're talking DFS as well, daily fantasy sports, little sports betting. We're just there for you guys for, till kickoff, roughly 1 o'clock, and for 90 minutes. And you can join us then too, man.
Yeah, a little freestyle on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, not so structured. We definitely like it. Brock Purdy against this Eagles pass defense, which has pretty much become a pass funnel defense, similar to the way the Titans kind of go. Dude, he's still leads the league in most categories. Tops in completion percentage, tops in yards per attempt at a sick 9.4. That's amazing.
Jeez.
And yards per completion is 13.4. I look for him to have a much stronger week than he had against Seattle. I think he only got like 10.5 points or something.
I pick six too.
Yeah, strong week as a boomer bust QB1 this week. Yeah, because the Eagles are just not very well. What's their touchdown rate? 5% allowed. That's 27th in the league. I could see an easy 225-2 from Purdy, and I'd be happy with that. 250-2.
Yeah, I think he can get something like that. One matchup to watch is that Niners offensive line against Philly's defensive line, specifically the pass rush. Niners aren't the greatest pass blocking team out there, and Philly's got a hell of a pass rush when they want to, and they can apply pressure from the outside and up through the middle with somebody like Jalen Carter. I still think he's going to have a decent game. He does have 6 picks in his last 6 games, so he's been turning the ball over more, and the Eagles allow the second most points to quarterbacks. They've got some problems there. He's thrown for 275 plus in 3 or 4 games, though. So I think he's somebody you can start with confidence in this matchup. He's a low-end quarterback 1, high-end QB 2, just kind of depending. I think we've got him around 8 or 9 this week.
Yeah. Yep. Swift, how you guys feel about him? He's played a lot better the last couple weeks. Cam Jurgens came back, their big offensive lineman, and his yards per carry has surged. Actually, what was he? Oh God, I forgot it. When Jurgens was off the field, he was 3.4 yards per carry. His explosive run rate was horrible at a 2.4%. He's totally turned that around the last 2 weeks. It's over 6 a carry. 6% of his carries are explosive runs. We'll see how that works this weekend because San Francisco is just allowing 8.5 rushing points per game to backfields. That's 4th in the league. I will say it again. I've said it before. This is where you would love to be, or love to have Swift use more as a pass catcher. He can do it. He was very good with it when he was with the Lions. In San Francisco is allowing over 9.2 receiving points per game to running backs, 21st in the league. I cannot talk this evening. Yeah. So you look to see if they'll maybe change something with them. I just can't. I know with Devonta Smith and AJ Brown and stuff, you don't really have to throw to Swift, but it would be a big change. I think it might catch the 49ers off guard.
Well, especially with that defensive line in the pass rush that San Francisco has. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to throw 3 or 4 screen passes to Swift and see if they can get some yards there. It might be a good play with as aggressive and as successful as they've been at getting to the quarterback and stopping the run at the same time. Yeah. I was actually going to touch on that before you did, Kyle. And I completely agree with you. I think that this is an opportunity for Swift to have a really good game receiving through that screen game.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game to watch overall. these are two defenses that can definitely be beaten through the air, and you've got two quarterbacks who can accomplish that. Brandon Ayuk is averaging 16.1 points over his past 6 games. The Eagles allow the most points to wide receivers. He's got touchdown in 3 straight games. He's gone over 100 yards in 2 of the last 4. He's somebody I'm rolling out there with confidence, and somebody I've been high on all year. I said he was going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver. He's kind of in that like 12 to 15 range right now, so he can still do it. Debo.
Huge Ayuk game.
Yep. Debo, he's the
happen.
wide receiver 13 over the past 3 weeks. He had a season high 7 receptions last week. I'm expecting similar. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. We just watched Philly and Buffalo scored 60 odd points in a goddamn downpour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Going back to Ayuk, he plays 83% of his snaps on the outside. That's where everybody's been attacking the Eagles all season. Jesus, they're allowing what? League high 28.2 points per game to outside wide receivers and 9.6 receptions per game to outside receivers, 30th in the league, and the touchdown rate 7.7, which is just sick. You mentioned Debo as well. Dude, he's only been targeting what? Oh shit, I lost it.
Nice.
I was going to talk about his targets behind the line of scrimmage. He has 28% of his targets behind the line of scrimmage. They do a lot of screens and dumps to him. Tough for defense. The Eagles have had tough time defending that this season. He could have a big game.
Got some more folks in the chat. Sway. What up, players? Time to get stoned. Spark it up, brother. Supersonic. Puff, puff, pass. You know the rules.
Yep. And I think Kittle's got a strong spot to rebound this week. Eagles are really banged up at linebacker as well. Nakobe Dean's out, and I think Zach Cunningham's questionable too. So we'll see. The Eagles have allowed 6 tight end, 1 scoring weeks to tight ends.
You beat them through the air.
Yep.
The only thing they defend well is the slot. Bradley Roby's been pretty damn good this year. But otherwise, you beat the shit out of them through the air.
Yep, that's what everybody's been doing. Dubo, welcome back, man.
What's up, Dubo?
Yep.
Glad you could join us.
Heck yeah. So
how do you think CMC is going to do this week? He's the one player we haven't touched on in this game. Philly's run defense is legit. Yeah. And even through the air, they're mid when it comes to running back receptions. It's going to be a tough one for him.
It is, but dude, he can just do so many things. He can run for efficiency. He can catch passes. He can stack touchdowns. But the matchup is tough. But I still look for him to have 100 total yards.
He's the running back 1 until further notice.
Yeah. What is he? 16 touchdowns. It's crazy. He scored 30 touchdowns in 25 games so far as a 49er. So he's averaging over 1 a game. Sick.
That's pretty good.
Some running backs have got some production against the Eagles the last couple weeks. They allowed 126 to Kansas City 2 weeks ago and 167 to Buffalo last week. So it could be done.
A lot of that to Buffalo was Josh Allen, though, too.
Still allowed it.
I kind of wonder if San Francisco will use CMC much in the way that I think that Philly might use Swift. I wonder if there'll be a lot of screen passes and slants and things like that to get him out of the backfield, not having to run the ball through that Philly line and get him some yardage that way. But I have no doubt that he's going to put up some numbers, whether it's on the ground or through the air. I think this is going to be a shootout.
Yeah. So even in last year's game, the NFC Championship, that was kind of a disaster for the 49ers with Purdy and stuff. McCaffrey still had 106 total and a touchdown. So you're not benching him. You're not starting him. I mean, you're not you're starting him. You're starting him all fucking season. Fuck it.
Yes.
No reason not to unless he's hurt or on a bye. So
want to get to our bullshit?
Yeah, holy
Yep.
cow, we're already at an hour. Holy schmoly.
Wow. Shoot.
All right. Now it is time for our aces and deuces, and we got all this other crap on the screen. Oh my god. Oh, thanks, Matt. Appreciate that.
It was
Our
me.
little version. Oh, thanks, Ramey. Sorry. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Our little version of why is this not coming off the screen now? It's like broken. Starts and sits. We each pick a couple aces, couple deuces, and we'll get to our locks in a minute. Who would like to go first?
Why don't you go, Kyle?
All righty then. My first ace is Commanders QB Sam Howell. He's in what is he, fourth in fantasy points on the season now. A lot of his bad games came early in the season. His sack problem's getting kind of under control now. He was getting sacked, 5-6 times a game in the first 7 weeks. He's been sacked 4 times or fewer in each of the past 5. They play the Dolphins. They're heavy underdogs. It's very likely Howell will reach 40, more than likely 45 passes. They should be playing from behind, so you can get some back end garbage points. I'll take it in fantasy all day long. Yeah. My next one is Jalen Warren. Steelers running back, played very well over the past 4 weeks, 48 carries for 367 and 2 touchdowns. He's been able to coexist with Najee Harris. I like both running backs actually this week. I think there's a situation where you start both of them if you have them in a league this week. Cardinals have allowed the second most fantasy points to running backs this season. Steelers are clear favorites at home. It should give Warren and Harris plenty of opportunities, but I am choosing Warren.
Nice.
Somebody? Anyone? Ramey?
You can go, Ramey.
Okay. We alluded to this earlier. My first ace is Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. So far this season, he is 8th in the league in targets. He's 7th in receptions, and fortunately, he's 31st in touchdowns. Even without that touchdown production, he has been a wide receiver 1-ish. I'll kind of hedge there, but I think he's going to have a good game against this Titans pass defense. Gardner Minshew throws him the ball a ton. I think he's going to have 7-8 grabs. He's going to push to 100. He's going to flirt with 100 yards. And if he can get a touchdown, that's just a bonus. So I think he's going to be an ace this week. He's going to have a really good game.
Where there'll be petting involved with the flirting?
Maybe.
All right.
Light, not heavy.
Okay.
Yeah. My second ace is Texans wide receiver Nico Collins. We talked about this game coming up on Sunday against the Broncos. That Broncos defense is playing better, but CJ Stroud is just lighting the world on fire, throwing the ball to everybody. And I think Collins is going to have a really good game against that Broncos defense. Kind of took a dip a few weeks back when Tank Dell just exploded, but I think it's kind of evened out again. And I think Nico Collins is going to have a really nice game this Sunday. And I think the Texans overall, anybody on that team is, especially in the wide receiver department, is a must start. So Nico Collins gonna really have a nice game, and I'm gonna catch up with you guys.
We'll see. My first ace, we just talked about him, 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, going up against a pass defense that just gave up 339 yards in a downpour. This is a game that's going to shoot out. Great matchup for him on the outside. I'm firing him up with confidence. My second ace, Derrick Henry. Colts give up the 6th most points to running backs. They're bottom half of the league in terms of yards per carry. They've got a rookie quarterback out there who's not exactly been doing amazing, and they'll serve themselves well to keep the ball on the ground. Rashad White just hit the century mark last week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Deuces, or did you do your second? Did you do 2 of them?
I sure did.
All right. Fantastic. My first ace is Packers wide receiver Christian Watson. He scored in the past 2 weeks, posted the best numbers. Recently in the last 2 games. He went 94 against Detroit last week. I don't like it. L'Jarius Sneed shadows opposing top outside wide receivers each week. I think Watson will be slowed down a bunch. I'd I'd rather go with Romeo Dubs or Reed there this week than Christian Watson. My second deuce is Geno Smith, who'll be playing here shortly, going against the Cowboys defense. Don't really need to say more than that. He's second time in the last month he's thrown fewer than 200 yards. That was against the Ravens and the 49ers. They both like to generate pressure and get sacks. Guess what the Cowboys like to do? They're even better at it than those previous teams. So I am sour on Geno Smith this week.
Nice picks.
He ain't going to write you back, Kyle.
Thank you.
My first deuce, we talked about him earlier, Bengals running back Joe Mixon going on Monday night against the Jaguars. With Joe Burrow out, teams have really been able to kind of shut down that offense altogether. And I don't think Joe Mixon's going to be able to do much, especially against that Jacksonville run defense, which is shown to be pretty solid. But that Bengals offense is just kind of floundering at this point with Burrow being out for the season. So Joe Mixon, if you can leave him on your bench, please do. My second deuce, Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. We talked about him on Tuesday too for a short minute. And then somebody had a question about him today. That Rams offense has kind of left Cooper Kupp behind, and he's dealing with an injury. Just hasn't had the production that he's had when he's healthy. Other wide receivers, Puka Nacua, comes to mind, has kind of replaced that production on the Rams, and Matt Stafford has been targeting him quite a bit more. So Cooper Kupp, I would not start him this week. Look for him to have a poor game against that Cleveland secondary.
Let's see. Next. Is it me? Am I next?
No, I got to do mine. We got Dubo in there, though, responding to your message. Not a lot of confidence anymore at QB position there with Minnesota. Sounds like coach could make a change. I'd be shocked if they did. I think,
Me too,
given how Dobbs has performed since he got there. Look, everybody has a bad game. As a Lions fan, I'm glad they lost, and I hope they do again coming out of the bye, though. But I think if that happens, it'll still be Josh Dobbs back there.
Yeah, with Jefferson coming back too, I think that's going to help alleviate a lot of things. I don't want him to, run away with the division or anything, because go Lions. But yeah.
All right, my first deuce, and I'm not really splitting the atom here with this one. I'm going with Falcons wide receiver Drake London. It's a horrible matchup going up against the Jets. It doesn't really matter who's on them. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner have been amazing this year, and just that combined with shitty quarterback play from Des Ridder or Taylor Heineke, it don't really matter. No, if you can afford to bench him this week, I would do so. My other deuce, Trey McBride. Pittsburgh's going to have the best defense that the Cardinals have gone up against since Murray come back. They're top 10 versus the tight end in points allowed, and they've only allowed 2 touchdowns to tight ends. It's just a bad matchup for him overall.
Yeah. Coincidentally, Zach Ertz was, mutually released. He asked for his release and was granted it by the Cardinals today. Where do you guys see him going? Probably
Philly if he clears waivers.
Yeah, I think so too. I'd like to see him in Indy just because they have Indy has a ton of tight ends, but no real number one. And I think he'd look good in that offense with Steichen. But I think you're right. It just kind of screams homecoming with Philly.
Yep. Yeah, he'll go ring chasing if he can.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
What about the Ravens? They lost their tight end. Isaiah Likely's, an okay replacement, but somebody like Zach Ertz with that playoff experience could be something to watch out for. Let's see. We got Thursday 2, 3, 4, 5 in the chat. Start DK or Pickens tonight.
Oof.
Wow, Pickens plays this weekend. But DK tonight or Pickens?
Well, according to our rankings, we've got DK at 22, and we've got Pickens at 38. Yeah. And I think you're seeing with the new offense there in Pittsburgh, they're working the middle of the field more with Freiermuth being back, and Deontay Johnson kind of lives there. And you're just not seeing they're running the ball. You're not seeing the number of targets that you want to see with George Pickens. So you're really hoping for the big play. as much as it pains me to say it, I think I'm going DK this week.
I agree. I think that DK is probably, I don't know that either player is going to have a great game, but I think DK has a chance to have a better game than Pickens does with the way that Pittsburgh offense is looking with the Kyle's happy firing of Matt Canada.
Right. Awesome. Thanks Thursday. I appreciate it. You joined us through Twitch. We just started live streaming through there. So that's pretty awesome. You're our first comment from there. So that's pretty cool. We are on YouTube as well. Stoned On Sports Podcast. Give it a like and subscribe there too. Post a lot of extra content there as well. Appreciate your question. Good stuff. We got Brandon in the chat. Got Thielen, D-Hop, Devontae Smith, or Cup. Pick 3.
Well, Devontae Smith for sure.
Yeah, I think Cup is the odd man out for me.
Yeah.
You like dead body this week? Adam Thielen?
Did you say dad body or dead body?
Dead body. Dead. He's 33-year-old dead body. Who do the Panthers play again? Why can't I not remember?
They play the Bucs.
Tampa.
The Bucs. That's turned into a pass funnel defense.
Yeah. I'm sitting Cup.
I agree. I'll take the first 3. Thielen, D-Hop, and Smith.
Dad bod.
Brandon's. Yeah, dad bod. Brandon says he has Cup on the bench right now. Smart man. Are you happy your comments got on the screen?
Look at that beautiful photo with his family.
Yeah.
3 daughters.
Dubo, agree. Lions better get it together, though. You just took the.
Oh, sorry.
Lions better get it together, though. Those games at the end of the season are going to have the division on the line versus the purple. Yeah, we all 3 of us have been chirping about that for sure. It could end up that way. I'm hoping the Lions just keep winning. So, Kip's laughing. I had to ask fantasy football questions or I don't get answered. Well, I think you get responded to. You just don't get your comment on the screen because usually it's, something that only just a couple people know about, and it's hard to share all that stuff. Okay, where were we, guys? Locks?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, because the game's going to be starting here shortly. I'm going to go with the Lions. -4 on the road at the Saints. Saints got a lot of problems, a lot of injuries to deal with. Should help alleviate some of Detroit's recent struggles on defense. The Saints just let the Falcons run over 200 yards on them. The Lions have the power to do the same. Goff performs well in domes. He just needs to hold on to the ball, not lose it or throw a pick this week. So I like the Lions to cover.
Nice pick.
Thank you.
My lock.
One more. Hold on 1 second. Thursday's back again. Thanks, guys. One more question. Should I trade Chase? And if so, for whom?
It's hard to say without knowing the makeup of the rest of your team. I'm not opposed to trading Chase, but understand right now you're trading him and you should expect to get no more than maybe 50 cents on the dollar for what you paid for him.
Yeah.
Position for position trades are harder to pull off where you're doing receiver for receiver or running back for running back. Maybe you can get a low end running back 2 for him.
Yeah, I always preach, or not always, but this season been preaching running back depth is kind of key, helpful in fantasy playoffs. I would trade Chase for a handcuff right now.
Maybe you can get Jerome Ford for him or somebody like that.
That wouldn't be horrible. Maybe somebody even, dude, I'd even take Gainwell for him just to have a handcuff there in Philly. Tough.
Appreciate you Thursday.
Yeah. Good question, man. We're here for you all the time, man. Locks or Ramey, sorry.
Yeah. I got to find it again. My lock is the Bucs -5 at home against the Panthers this Sunday. Panthers are a dumpster fire. And I know the last time we got together, I talked about maybe the Panthers have a little bit of a boost because they're playing for their fired coach, but I just don't think that they have the talent or the coaching to get things together as quickly within 1 week. So I think the Bucs are going to cover. I think the Bucs are going to win relatively easily. Panthers are just just not good. And it boggles my mind the fact that Houston lost to them.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, my turn. I'm going to keep this one simple, folks. My lock of the week, the Eagles +3 against the 49ers at home. Explanation being Philly shouldn't be a 3-point home dog to anybody in the NFL, period.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, if I'm betting that game, I'm probably going to buy the hook and move that up to Philly +3.5 just to try and avoid the push. But no, they should not be a home dog like that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Great pick, man.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Let's go watch some football.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
We'll be back again on. Oh, you were going to do it? Oh, go ahead.
No, go. I did it last time. You do it.
All right. We'll be back this Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern for Tinker Time, taking all your last minute questions. Again, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern as well. We do have our Week 13 rankings on the website, stonedonsportspodcast.com. Check that out. A lot of good info on there. Just a breakdown of our consensus rankings for positions. We did defense, special teams as well. We'll see you Sunday morning, guys. Sound good?
Yeah. Sounds
awesome.
Great.
Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Thanks a lot, folks. Talk to you later.
See you
Later.